Over many years I spent building a world like no other, one that was founded upon mere dirt and now stands clothed in stone and glass. In these 10 years I have built an assortment of things, from bridges that cross rivers so wide to cathedrals that scrape the heavens so high. And this place full of awe and wonder once lied barren and empty, till I came, saw, and made. This is what I've built. The name Gothsburg never used to adorn the world as it does now. Many moons ago, this place was known simply as redstone testing. I'd started this world in my first year of high school on a simple iPad. Resources were limited back then. The plains empty, the world barren. Before the age of buildings, this place was made for machines. Redstone contraptions and inventions to test and build, all scattered amongst the grassy plains. Known simply as the Iron Age for its primary and extensive use of iron blocks, grand contraptions would decorate the flat plains. The first buildings in this time to be erected were the lighthouse, the bedrock jail, and my own house estate. Large skyscrapers of ice and metal were constructed as simple works of architecture. While primitive in their design, they would ultimately inspire a greater need to touch the heavens with much more glorious works. The most dominant build from this time are these Goliath ships that float in Gothsburg's presence. Known as Blizzard and Icicle, they were built in the prime of this era as grand shows of design, the most elaborate and decorated design that I could fashion at the time. A platform to view the world in all of its splendor. There once were bridged from land to sky by a railway link. As the world slowly moved along, outside the great plague known as COVID-19 would spread through the streets, leaving the youth saddled to their abodes, biding their time in whatever way possible. It was towards the end of the Iron Age that the world yearned for expansion. Thus, the rivers that flowed through Gothsburg were expanded, entering vast lakes and soon to be oceans. There was a sense of change in the air for this world of redstone, a shift in its primordial design to become something far grander. First of many Gothic structures would be a simple spire, dubbed the Gothsburg Monument. Opposed to older buildings before its time, the addition of deep slate radicalized a new art movement that would sweep in grand design. It is here that this marker would inscribe the very name of the city yet to be built. Gothsburg takes its name simply from the word Gothic, the stylistic design of the North Germanic tribes that would evolve over the years from romanticized literature to musical association in later years. And Berg, meaning fortified city. With its first structure made, Gothsburg would now enter the age of architecture. With majesty and beauty in the air, the city reached a peak of design in this time. All things from churches, castles, and bridges were made, decorated in ornate patterns and frills, the designs lavishly drawn and built. The once stately residency near Spawn was moved closer to Gothsburg's main district, south of the river, dubbed as Exeter Manor. During this time, a monumental project would commence, a colossal cathedral unlike any built before it, to be the main magnus opus and focal point to the city. There seemed a greater need to populate the world with all facets of architecture. Primarily, though, the Gothic style was favored the most, having fascinated me since my youth, perhaps due to the many times I watched The Hunchback of Notre Dame as a child, or even the frightening, macabre tales of Edgar Allan Poe haunting me through the night.
Of course, whatever it may be, it seemed to have its effect, from the haunting and frightening macabre tales that inspire my own work to my own interests and passions of mine, one being my love for filming. Of course, if you're no stranger to the channel, you know that I love to film. Well, in order to do that, you need a good tripod.
This is the KX3939 fluid head tripod, and it has been a tremendous help filming these past few days. With buttery smooth fluid movement, a load capacity of 10 kilograms, and retractable design, it's the perfect tripod for on the go or in the studio. With a whole assortment of nifty features, it has been a pure joy to use and a much needed upgrade from my old rust bucket. So, if you're an avid filmer like me, or you need something sturdy and reliable, then please check the link in the bio, and thanks for coming for sponsoring this video. As high school went by and university began, I undertook a degree in architecture, and to no surprise, history was my favorite subject. While my degree taught me an awful lot about architecture, it was my own interest that peered me closer to the works of Leduc, Wagner, Wren, and Pugin. At this time, Gothsburg Cathedral had undergone a rampant change. As I learned more about how cathedrals were put together, I altered and changed my initial designs, better enlightened by the works of those past. The city was not only an expansion of the world, but my understanding of architecture itself. How the very structures in the real world were fashioned together, brick by brick, block by block. It was during this first year that I began illustrating a manuscript of such, known simply as the Gothsburg Codex, an expansive sketchbook that articulated the fascinations both past, present, perhaps even future. What was once merely sketched was now methodically thought out as structures became more complex in the design. However, in Gothsburg, a problem arose. The river that had separated the Gothic area had been deemed small. In this time, Gothsburg was treated as a district rather than a whole world, separated from the redstone contraptions near spawn. It was from my studies of Haussmann and his urbanization of Paris that I realized there was no order, no rigidity that connected any of the structures together. In order to build this world, I would have to burn it to the ground, reforged again into something better. What once was fields of hundreds of machines now lied great towers of stone, the ruins of which the world was made of, now buried and forgotten. However, most of these contraptions were saved, placed internally in the Crystal Palace, central to spawn. It seemed order had been established, the world free from expanding, but soon this would change in time. South of the river, large establishments were made. The Château de la Souffrance, a large medieval fortification that imposed upon the landscape with its ominous lava moat, and just west to that, the Palace of Gothsburg, were marvels of architectural design, embracing the neo-Gothic traditions in all their splendor and wonder. The city was well in its development southwards, but up north, the river was a different story. The marveled Crystal Palace, a herald of redstone technology and innovation, now stood in the way in the mark of progress. It proved imposing, hastily built in location that was far too significant with its proximity to spawn. The great sky rail that once soared as a marvel in the early days was now seen as an eyesore, and more of a wall than a bridge. It was in this age that the once nostalgic and charming structures that littered the world were deemed hideous, barbaric, primitive in their design. Thus, it was decided that the palace would be moved, the sky rail destroyed, but its piers kept as a viaduct for the new transportation network. With the original spawn now vacant, it was decided that a church would be constructed, built atop one of the most significant sites in the world, the first build ever made, the Redstone Door. To preserve this ancient creation untouched by time, an artificial hill would be made, the nave of the church elevated and descend downwards upon the transept in a slope manner, the original redstone contraption enshrined in the crypt below the altar. By the second year of my degree, Gothsburg grew at a rate faster than ever before, but its founding infrastructure proved insufficient in its expansion. Mainly, the small rivers that flowed into the city were overshadowed by the colossal churches and manors that caressed its shores. A huge task would have to be undertaken to create a truly colossal river. Given the world was still in bedrock, this task was undertaken by TNT demolition. The aim was to add a river that joined the large lake near the cathedral. Known as Dorfian Lake, the mouth of the western end would join to the main artery of the river. This would create a natural division, a large region for the city southwards. Thus, the task of blowing over 1 million grass blocks began, a grueling process that took the better part of a week, but with nearly over 10,000 TNT blocks placed by hand and water flooding its void, the river was complete. With the waterways now expanded, a monumental bridge was made to connect these regions together. Gothsburg Cathedral would now undergo its most complex build in this time, the Crossing Tower, a unique design inspired by Lincoln Cathedral alongside the amalgamation of several others. Towards the end of 2024, the world had grown significantly, but now it lay stagnant. Builds lied incomplete, abandoned and outright deserted. Ideas that were once drawn and imagined were put aside. The passion to build felt like a dwindled flame in the night. What once was a bustling city full of architectural wonder, now felt like a ghost town. With university work piling up, the world was set aside, lost to time. Days became weeks, weeks became months, and the world I had built for so long was now left abandoned. After many years of playing in bedrock, I decided that the time was now, that if kept here, the world would surely perish to time. Gothsburg would finally move to Java. With the transition complete, the world was in a new realm, but had its fair share of problems. Redstone was now a jumbled, broken mess. Stairs and glass had glitched throughout, and navigating around felt almost foreign. Though stressful to adapt, it was ultimately for the greater good. While Bedrock may have founded this place, Java would allow it to grow beyond anything seen before. With the addition of Axiom, the world breathed new life. Builds became quicker, more detailed, more wondrous and exuberant to construct. The city had advanced into a whole other realm. Building didn't feel like a chore anymore or some infinite task. Java had allowed Gothsburg to venture further than just the Gothic, into modern and contemporary styles with more advanced building techniques. It felt like playing all those years ago. A spark of creativity, relit. Buildings could now be shared, friends could join, and the ideas never deemed possible before could be achieved. Gothsburg is not just a world. This city is my own mind, unraveled with its labyrinthian caverns and fascinations explored in this place. In essence, this world is my own self-understanding of architecture, of my own thought written from pen and ink, brick by brick. But in a way, I am able to share and articulate this love and passion for design. Like painting and drawing, I feel more attached to my ideas, realized in a tangible sense. Sure, many would say Minecraft is just a game, but I'd argue a great deal more would say it's an art form, an expression of oneself and their own creativity and aspirations to build and even inspire others to do so. And thus Gothsburg is the way it is today, still growing, still forever changing. If you like to see more of this strange place of mine, then tune in. There's a lot more to go around. And yes, there will be builds to come as well. I just made one of my cathedrals available on Patreon, so go see to that. Of course, I would like to share more of the real world out there, explained with all of its intricacies and wonders in this world. To do that, I gotta keep building. So I think I'll keep doing that. Till next time, take care and happy building.